Hello everyone. When it's really time to teach your child concepts like numbers, alphabets, or even colors, what do you really do? What do you start with? Do you start with numbers, alphabets directly? No. What you really have to start with are shapes, right? Because shapes form the basis of all forms of letters and alphabets. There are triangles in there are circles in there, ovals in there. Whenever you're about to start with either shapes, numbers, letters, or color concept, the first thing you should start with is matching tasks. Following the steps of my video on steps of learning, we are going to talk about color concept first. So for example, I can tell them, I have a few colors over here. Let's try to match them. So see how I'm placing each color and making a pair. Can you try to do the same? Don't jumble them up initially. Try to go slowly. If you think 5 is just too much, why don't you just start with 2 colors to go? And these 2 colors have to be very, very different from each other so that the child does not get confused. So for example, a green and blue is a bad idea to start with. Instead, you can take a blue and a red, or a yellow and a red. After that, you can go to 3, 4, 5, even 10 colors. The question is, which colors to teach first? Try to go for only 4 primary colors: red, yellow, blue, and green. After that, it is easier for the child to understand the concept of black and white. Now let's go into, red and orange are quite similar, so you can go into this shade category. So we can have red, orange, pink, and similarly we can introduce blues and greens together. And the final step of teaching colors is, light and dark of an object. So in this, they simply have to try to match the shades. This looks like a green, this looks like a green, but the child will understand there is some difference. I don't want to match these two. Try to introduce matching activities, like maybe placing buttons that are matching this particular thing, so the child can try to figure out, blue goes on blue, yellow goes on yellow, and so on, so that the basic 4 colors that I mentioned before are easier for them to learn. It is better for shapes to start with the 4 basic shapes. So what are those? We can start with a circle because it has no sides. That's a good example. Next, we can go to triangle, which has 3 sides. Then a square, which has 4 sides. And a very unique shape, like maybe a star, or you can even go for a heart. Now, in order to reinforce the learning of these shapes, you can actually use them as reinforcements. Kids are really fond of getting either a star or a heart as a reinforcement. Taking it even further, you can turn them into smileys. So there your circle shape goes. So is it either a happy smiley or a sad smiley? But you cannot necessarily show them in circles. You can put them inside a square or a triangle. As you understood why I emphasize these 5 shapes, after that you can go into some variety of shapes, like now you're talking about a circle and an oval. So these are quite similar. The child has to understand the oblong shape of oval. In the same manner, we can work on a diamond and a square because it is a more tilted shape, so easier for the child to understand. Rectangle and square are very close concepts because it is similarly a lengthened square. And finally, you can go to as many shapes as you want: a crescent shape, a hexagon, an octagon, a pentagon. All those shapes are open for you. But now let's get to the concept of teaching your child alphabets and numbers. So let me give you a very good sequence of alphabets, a very good sequence in which you can teach alphabets to your child. Now think about it. Which alphabets really require only standing and sleeping lines? Aren't these the only 6 alphabets that have got that feature? E, F, H, I, L, and T. So why don't you just focus on these so that the child finds it easier to start writing. Moving on to the next series with oblique or slanting lines K, M, N, V, W, X, Y, Z. This should be followed not by complicated curves but by alphabets that require some kind of space inside, like an enclosed space, but at the same time they also have some kind of shape they familiarize with. So A has a triangle inside with only 2 extended slanting lines. O and Q are essentially circles, only Q has a small slanting line coming out of it. The next sequence would be B, D, P, and R, which have all curves inside them. And finally, well, I don't need to tell you that, we have C, G, J, S, and U. You can follow a similar kind of sequence with numbers. So the first set of numbers would be 1, 4, and maybe 7 because it again has a slanting line or an oblique line. This could be followed by numbers which have got small circles inside them like 6, 9, 8, even 10 because it has a standing line and a circle. And finally we move on to 2, 3, and 5. Children do not directly want to learn to write or read, so what do you do instead? Try to teach them by counting, by songs. So, come little children, come to me, I will teach you A, B, C. Or you can go for 1, 2, buckle my shoe. These are going to create a better picture for your child. And back to my barrels. Trust me, children do not want to count pictures. They feel better when they have objects. How many barrels have you got? Can you tell me? Okay, let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Very good. Movement-based actions are again an excellent way by which you can teach both forward and backward counting to a child. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. Isn't it such a simple way? And that'll be fun. Put on a song, a favorite rhyme that your child enjoys, and dance with your child. Try to give your child boards like this where they can match numbers, they can match alphabets. First start with less numbers, then go on to till 20. Or you can start with bold letters first and then move on to small letters. When you're introducing your child to writing, do not force them to write with a pencil directly. Let them write with whatever they like. They can write with crayons, color pencils, markers, sketch pens. They can write even with chalk or a marker on a whiteboard. Let them be creative. Let them have their choice of when they have to start writing. It will help them so much. Also, you can introduce activities like making alphabets in sand. Or a second way, check out my video. I have explained a whole lot on how to develop pre-writing skills in children based on Play-Doh. So let me know if you need more information on this topic, any specific topic that you want me discussed on this channel of Road to Rehab. We are going to cover it. Mention in the comments below and we'll meet soon.